Comment 1459 is basically pointing out that a shortcut that's available for you in direct variation is not available for you in indirect variation. Indirect variation, it's all about multiplication. You see multiplication here, there'll be multiplication there. You see, and therefore no matter where you see it, it's fine. So for example, in this question here, I've got two options. I can regard that as timesing, and therefore this would be timesing and become a 12, or I can regard this as a doubling, and I can therefore regard this as a doubling. And it doesn't matter which you do. 2 becoming 4 is doubling, 6 doubling will lead to a 12. 2 becoming 6 is tripling, 4 becoming 12 will also be tripling. Whether you double 6 or triple 4, you get 12 either way. Now for indirect variation, what you can do is compare the x's. X was a 4, and therefore it changed to an 8, that's doubling. So if that's doubling, then this has to be halving. That's what it means for two quantities to be in inverse proportion to each other, or to vary indirectly with each other. Now, what you can't do is what I've said in comment 1459, which is to say that this is doubling. It is irrelevant to say that it's doubling because x and y are not in direct variation, therefore they have no scale factor. And you can tell that whenever you write the equals k sentence for them. What you end up having is the x underneath a fraction line. So it's not like you can just take an x and multiply it by something the way you could over here. Here you have an x, you want y, you just times it by 3. That's not the case. That's not the case with these. I think it's y equals 8 over x. So therefore you must resist the temptation to compare the x's and the y's. In direct variation, it doesn't matter what you do. You compare x with x, y with y, x with y, y with x, whatever. You need to be much more careful with indirect variation. There is no scale factor between x and y, therefore it is irrelevant to write a timesing by 2 to illustrate how a 4 becomes an 8. The method by which the 4 becomes an 8 is much more complicated than simply doubling, and in fact the relationship is something I've written here, except that it's wrong. I think it's 32 over x.